Hello, I'm your host and author, R.J. Burley, and this is the 5th chapter of Outcast, the first book in the Mountain Warrior series. A glorious day, Tommy declared in a voice as bright as the morning sun. It was a rare, warm, winter day, and the sun rays smashed through the windshield and burned my eyes when I dared to open them. Indeed, it was a glorious sunny morning that needled my brain through my dark sunglasses as we drove through the Shenandoah Valley. I should have enjoyed the beauty of the scenery of the seemingly never-ending ridge lines and the luxury of my first car ride in years, but I was horribly hungover. Tommy had pressured me to drink shot after shot of fake tequila after we left his office. Meanwhile, he laughed off any of my suggestions for him to drink. This was a typical night out with Tommy, but last night was an extreme. It was my send-off, like breaking a champagne bottle against a ship's hull on its virgin float. Only in this case, I felt like the bottle had been shattered against my skull. During that time, I lost track of my backpack with my medical file. Tommy insisted that it was in his Lexus, and I forgot about it until now. I let it go. I had more pressing worries. We had left Washington, D.C. at 4 in the morning while I was still drunk, and we would arrive at the border of the Forbidden Zone early in the afternoon or late in the morning. Tommy drove a pre-disaster Cadillac SUV that was waxed to look shiny and black and new like Darth Vader's helmet. I slouched in the passenger seat. Usually Tommy would have a chauffeur, but he waved that off for the sake of added secrecy. He laid the BS on heavy about wanting to save the taxpayer some money by driving the luxury SUV himself. The funny thing was that the Cadillac would burn through enough money in gas to hire dozens of chauffeurs. The thought of the cost of gas made me shiver slightly. The punishment for sneaking out of the Forbidden Zone was an immediate bullet to the head and on-the-spot incineration. All of the Border Patrol vehicles had a 5-gallon tank of gas to promptly turn a violator into ashes. The government seemed to think it necessary to spend the money to burn away the memory of a potential infected intruder. A large emblem of Tommy's office was displayed proudly on the hood, side door, and a final one on the rear door. This emblem was different from the one on his Lexus, and was not for the entertainment branch, but rather the intelligence gathering. The emblem on the SUV had an eagle with a telescope crossed with a rifle on its chest. I worried that it would gather attention. Tommy said it would do the opposite, that the people near the border tended to look away from the government vehicles for safety reasons. He told me that the enforcement arm had a lot more leeway with distributing justice in the border area, to put it mildly. That may have been true, but something deep inside felt uneasy with the whole setup. Tommy was too relaxed, but then again, it was my life that was on the line, not his. The closer we drew near to the Forbidden Zone, the more his prediction proved correct. I saw a young mother whose face was worn out long before its time, not just look away, but push her children's heads away from our direction as well. It was surreal. I couldn't help but feel above it all, sitting high in the SUV, until I realized it wasn't my power. I was simply leeching off of Tommy, and that it would be yanked out from under me shortly. With that realization, my headache thundered back. Tommy laughed and pointed at the subdued people we passed. "See, nothing to worry about. Your concern is simply from your hangover. I warned you about not over-consuming last night." I shot him a dirty look which made him laugh. I didn't bother to say that he didn't warn me but encouraged me. He continued to laugh until I faked a dry heave. "Hey, not on the carpet. I don't want to drive back alone with nothing but the nasty smell of your vomit in the car as my last memory of you." I stared out the window and smirked slightly with the knowledge that I had actually gotten under his skin for once. I wish I could have vomited just to mess with him. However, it wasn't until later, when I replayed in my head what he had just said, that I realized I should have seen what was coming.